Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a few elements which comprise the scene in your screenplay. This video probably will be good for beginners, for those who are starting out, but if you are a seasoned screenwriter, you're welcome to watch as well and give your own opinion. So all the movies which you watch are actually made under a certain structure, which comprises of 3 to 4 acts. And these acts we can actually subdivide and go into smaller chunks, which will be called sequences. The sequences can be longer or can be shorter, and if sequences we subdivide more, we are actually coming up to a one single scene at a time. So first, the scene comes with the scene heading. Sometimes the action can happen, let's say, in the open field or on the stadium, in the house. And so the things can happen inside and outside. For the inside, we're using interior, and for the outside, we're using exterior. But sometimes there are such situations where the action might happen actually quite frequently between exterior and interior, and these locations both can be adjacent to each other. So when you're writing, instead of jumping quite often from interior to exterior and writing down the scene heading and kind of eating up the page space, what you can do, you actually combine, is that you write interior/exterior, then the name of the place, let's say the parking lot or the house, and then in the scene heading at the end we have a time of the day. Normally it would be day or night, or if you want to be more specific, it's the morning or the evening, golden hour. So after that we have another element of the screenplay which is called directions. In the old screenwriting software you will find them as actions. So this is the element which we use to describe the scene, describe who we see in the scene, okay, describe how they look and what they're actually doing. So when we are writing the actions and all descriptions in there, it is actually quite opposite to what you would find in a book or in the novel. In the screenplay, we don't have the luxury to be describing things very extensively or diving into the thoughts of the characters, or expressing one page how the location looks like what is the mood, why this place is like this. So all of this we have to avoid. All your scene descriptions will sometimes come up to a few words or maybe just one sentence, and the actions also have to be described in a quite compressed way. So after the actions we come up to the characters. So normally for the lead characters and secondary characters, well, those characters in general who take quite a lot of screen time or they're important in the narration, you give them the name. You cannot just call them throughout the whole movie, or this is like a worker, or this is a boss or something. They have to come up with some distinct name. The characters also, if we mention the characters for the first time, font has to be capitalized and in bold, and next to the character you will write down his age and just a few words, few adjectives, how he looks like, what is his appearance, right? How his face looks like, or like he has a specific dress, something which really remarkable and noticeable about the character. So after the name you go for the dialogue. For the dialogues there is no particular rule how long or how short they should be, because it actually depends on your character. It depends on what person are you portraying. Maybe your character just talks a lot and talks very rapid, so the dialogue paragraph can be quite long, or it's just some thoughtful conversation. Some people are really talking deep and talking about many details. So in here what I recommend is, especially at the first time, you just go with it. However simple maybe you can write it, you just put it on the page. It just takes time of writing more, sort of self-discovering yourself and discovering your characters. Sometimes the characters, they do speak simple. The most important is how the sequence progresses, right? And even those simple lines can actually build up tension. In a sequence they can sound very interesting. So sometimes if the writer wants the character line to be spoken out in a certain tone or mood, you have to specify it exactly above the dialogue paragraph. So for this thing you will use parenthetical. So parenthetical is basically one or two words, adjectives, which you use to describe in which tone you have the character to speak out this line. Another tip is don't overuse parentheticals. You cannot for every character to put it down in which tone they're speaking, because in majority of situations this can be kind of logical. As a director and the actor will be finding out the tone for them. They will kind of find it naturally, okay, through the whole sequence of how it's going, and through the actions we can discover the mood of the people, right? So parentheticals come only at a certain point, really specific, and your scene each of your scenes can finish with the action. Sometimes it can finish with a transition. So the last element which we're going to talk about is the transitions. The very common one is fade in, fade out. For me, fade in, fade out, I think you would use when the number of scene or the kind of sequence or some sort of like a cluster of your story has ended. Logical, that's where you want to fade out, and that's where you fade in on another chapter. If you have like a specific effect, you can go with the match cut transition, can match with the sound and also with the relatively same framing of the position of the objects in your scene, just to make a really nice, interesting flow, yeah, between your scenes. And that's basically it. So right now, what do we have? We have a scene heading, we have direction or actions, we have character, we have dialogue, we have parenthetical, and you have transition. So these are 6 basic key elements with which you can write basically any script. When you are writing for the first time, like my advice, just do it, okay? You cannot learn everything at once, but most of the things you can describe in your own simple way, and that's you have to go with it, because your first task is to actually finish your first draft. It can have some mistakes. I think this is all right for the first draft, and as you go, let's say you're writing a feature film, as you go, yeah, in parallel you can pick up some extra knowledge on formatting and everything. Another thing which is waiting for you is the revisions. You will have to rewrite your script quite some times. It's really hard to get things at the first shot, so get ready for that. The journey of writing is actually is a little hard, yeah, it's not that easy, and it takes quite some time. But as of now, just for you to understand the answers of writing, do by yourself, do it with your hands, with your fingers. So later on, as you're writing it, and you really need to go more precisely and more careful with your formatting and grammar and all those stuff, you can use the book which is called the Hollywood Standard, which is huge collections of all those tips together. When you're writing, when you have some idea but you don't know how to exactly express it on the paper, refer to that book, and there you will find, I think, almost any answer. And yeah, because later, if you're about to send your screenplay to share it to some readers or some agents, you need to be really careful, because those people are very picky. If your screenplay has some grammar mistakes, they can abandon reading it, I don't know, first page, second page. So for those people, you have to be really prepared. But this comes, of course, later. First, your story has to be interesting, even in simple words. In the next video, we're gonna talk about where we actually start from when we write the script. What is the process like, how we grasp and accumulate ideas, and how we sort them out. So for today, thank you so much, and I see you in the next one.